Welcome to another episode of The Creative Real Estate Agent. I'm your host, Anastasia Forrest. I'm a broker associate here in the Northeast Florida area in St. Augustine, Florida. And this is the show where you get ideas on how to use your creativity to supercharge your real estate business. And today I've got an awesome guest that I am so excited to bring to you guys. It's David Cantero. And David, I meant to ask you this before we went live. Cantero.
Yes, you got it.
Cantero.
You got
I
it.
always
Yeah.
want to say Cantero, and I'm always like, no, but it's not Cantero, it's Cantero.
It's all good. Sounds
All
great.
right, cool. Well, David's an amazing social media marketing expert. He stays up to date with all the latest trends. I met him my first year in the biz and real estate, and I'm definitely want to share that story. But he's taught me so much over the past few years. And I mean, his classes and trainings are absolutely amazing. He's a great teacher. And I just can't wait to, have this conversation with him. So thank you so much for being here, David.
You're so welcome. It is my pleasure. Absolute my pleasure. Thank you for reaching out.
Yeah, no, I know you're busy. I was on your YouTube channel the other day. I saw you've got a lot of action going on there.
And it all comes down to what I literally try to preach and teach. It comes down to, as we're over here building our brand, our personal brand, whatever you want to call it, our business online, a lot of us, and this is especially based on experience, speaking to so many people, speaking to so many small business owners, speaking to thousands and thousands of real estate agents on this exact topic, what a lot of us tend to, where a lot of us tend to drop the ball is content. Like a lot of us overthink the content. We want to look so good. We want to sound so perfect. We want the background to look amazing. We want all this stuff going for us because we're perfectionists and we think it all has to be perfect. So we lack the content. We're hesitant to roll out that next video or even post that next image because we're afraid of what people may think. It's the content. And so the reason why you see this YouTube channel or just whatever I do overall, the reason why you're seeing a ton of it is because all I try to do is really document my day, which turns into the best content. When you look at my YouTube videos, it's all day in the life. It's me speaking to a client. It's me doing a tutorial on a Facebook ad or me doing a tutorial on a landing page. The stuff that you do daily should be your content. And that's what you want to continue to pump out. But because we're perfectionists, we overthink it and we don't even bother to put that into the mix, into the play. It's your content. I'm huge on not creating, documenting. That should be your content, day in the life. And you guys being real estate professionals, it's like, dude, your every day's a little different. Every phone call's a little different. You're putting out fires left and right. You guys have so much going on in the most amazing ways. It's not even funny. Where all of this stuff, man, it needs to be content. It needs to be content. That's what you need to be putting out, day in the life. That's what my YouTube channel, pretty much turned into.
Wow. Well, it seems to be definitely working. And I
Yeah.
agree with what you're saying about the real estate day in the life, and not only documenting what we do on a day-to-day basis, but what's going on in the market, because that's changing
Yes.
daily.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And that documentation really shows the flaws, the imperfections, the vulnerabilities, the characteristics, the personality. It's that we're building. That's why, again, it comes down to us thinking we need to be perfect when we don't. It's all of our flaws. It's all the fact that your mannerisms, the fact that the way that I'm moving my hands, it's all these little random things about us that attracts people. Like, that's what most of us forget, that social media is social media. It's people to people. It's peer to peer. So when you can take a lot of that stuff and create that type of content, Anastasia, people are like, damn, she's just like me, or he's just like me, or we share the same type of children. Like, we're going through the same experience. I have a third grader. She has a third grader. Like, right, because of my content, of how it's put out, it's just day in the life. It even attracts that next client. You'd be surprised. So that's kind of been the strategy.
Yeah. And that reminded me of something that I just heard the other day. Somebody was talking about keeping the social and social media. They said, don't post and ghost. So you need to interact. And that kind of reminds me of how I got connected with you. Do you remember how we got connected?
Well, I know how 99.9999% of my connections come, especially on Facebook. To really get technical with you, yeah, I actually do it, and it had to have come from an invite. It had to have came from you clicking invite to like your business page. Now, I don't know if that's the answer you have, or that's what you remember, but I'm pretty sure it had to have come that way, because that's how thousands of my, and I'm not even exaggerating, literally tens of thousands of my Facebook connections have came that way. But how did it come? Did it come that way or did it not?
You friend requested me.
I friend
Like,
requested you.
yeah,
You
pretty
clicked
soon after I
invite,
became an agent, and I was like, yeah, immediately clicked
right?
invite to like my business page. And then I got this message from you in my Facebook Messenger, and you said, hey, really appreciate the invite to like your page. Did you ever think this might be not the best strategy of, I don't know how you said it, but you said
Yes.
really nicely, you told me that that's not the best way to get business or something. I don't know how you put it, but
Yeah.
yeah.
I strategically put it. I intentionally put it. I wrote it out. I mean, shit, I wrote it out perfect in a way where it's like, it sounds like it's just a friendly message. And that's kind of where what I'm trying to really explain on being authentic and documenting the day in the life of what you're actually going through, letting your audience see that you're a normal person, that you're a real person, that you're genuine, that you care, right? So when I send a message like that to somebody like you, they're like, dang, okay, well, shit, it doesn't sound like he's selling me something. It sounds like he's actually trying to bring value. It sounds like he's actually genuine. And then when you go over to my page, you see just day in the life, my kids, right? My wife, right? Like, he looks like a normal person. He doesn't look like he's corporate. He doesn't look like he's pitching me something. He doesn't look salesy. He's just being genuine. And yeah, so that one message, Anastasia, that one message is what led me into finding out that one pain in the market, that one, pain point that X amount of people or a certain audience was going through. That one liner is what led me into so much more stuff. It's not even funny, as far
It's
as just
really,
online and building my
yeah.
business online and taking this whole social media to another level by, getting a bigger audience. But yeah, it's just that one thing, being genuine, putting out content, being genuine, and seeing what the market is really demanding.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, it was a very personalized approach and very disarming. I
Thank
get
you. Thank you.
LinkedIn invites every day or messages from people that just seem so spammy, and it's just I just immediately started offering things and teaching things. Like before I ever bought anything from you, you were just like teaching things, and it was like,
Right.
well, I want to learn more from this person because I like the way he teaches. I like what he's saying. Like it makes sense. Um, so very effective.
Yes, and
Um,
and that's what kind of led me into just developing more of even a passion, like more of a passion of what I was teaching. What I started teaching in 2017 to realtors specifically is the fact that they have all this amazing knowledge and content, but most are just splatting it all over the wall to see what sticks. When the majority of local business owners deal with their local community. So that's when the whole Facebook ads approach and landing pages and giving away a seller guide or a buyer guide to attract that lead. That's where all that came from with me. I started realizing now, I'm like, man, I'm putting out content. I'm attracting an audience like Anastasia. Okay, so how do I help her do that for her audience? Okay, here's how you're going to do it. You're going to educate your local area. You're going to start running and targeting that local area, running Facebook ads, for example, Instagram ads, and you're going to start giving away a seller guide. That's what it's all about, Anastasia, is educating that consumer on your topic. In your case, selling real estate, educating that end user on what it takes to sell, educating them, right? So that's why that whole approach of targeting your local area, running video ads, educating people on what it takes to buy and sell or invest or whatever. You can apply it to whatever business. But in this case, if I was a realtor, or if I was a realtor, I'd be talking about one topic, running a Facebook ad until that audience is saying what you're saying. Until that audience is saying what you're saying. What did you just say? Man, David, you were giving away and teaching all this stuff before we even, right?
yeah.
That's what the audience needs to know, needs to feel and know from you. but it's the local audience. And again, after having thousands of agents on my Facebook alone, I'm like, man, that's great, that information, but you're in Nebraska, I'm in California. Like that listing is cool, but you're in Colorado, I'm in California, and I'm not an investor, and I'm not an investor, and I'm not moving. So that's why this knowledge that you guys have, that realtors just overall have, any professional, local area, when you can run an ad and target that local area with value, education, and content, you're going to have X amount that raise their hand and fall in love with you. And they're like, dang, I want what they're saying. Right. And in your case, it's buyers and sellers, giving away a buyer guide, giving away a seller guide, or in your case, building your team within your company and looking for the best of the best to run with you and Sean, right. On your team, whatever, however you're attracting, that's what you want to do. Educate, fill them up with freaking education and content before you ever ask for anything. And that always seems to work. Brilliant. You're a perfect example.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, how did you, I know a little bit, but I think it'd be cool to share a little bit about how you got into the social media marketing world. How did you end up doing what you're doing? And maybe what do you consider what's your title? What do you call your job description?
I get that a lot, and I think of that a lot, but as far as just title, I mean, just a marketing consultant. I don't like to even put titles. Like, I'm just your friend. Like, you're not even my client anymore, Anastasia. Like, you're my freaking friend. Like, I hate using the word client. I hate putting some type of title. It's like, yeah, digital marketing, social media marketing, a marketing consultant, whatever. But really, it comes down to social media marketing and paid advertising. But it didn't start there, right? Social media, it didn't start there. It all started with marketing, though. I've been in marketing forever, like forever and a day. Like I got into I became fascinated with the internet in the very beginning. So as the internet was really rolling out, we had dial up. I don't know if you remember this, but we had a phone line, a phone jack. We had to plug it into the wall. We had dial up internet from AOL. Like, I don't know. I'm dating myself. Like,
I remember the way it sounded.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. You're freaking connecting to the damn telephone wire. Like, yes. So I happen to be a college student here in San Diego. I've been in San Diego my whole life, but here in San Diego locally, I was a college student at that time. So I'm 18, 19 years old, 20 years old, and the internet is now evolving, now starting to really take scale. And I was just fascinated with the marketing side of it. I was fascinated with websites. I was fascinated with what does it take to get somebody to click and give up their name and number. Like, I didn't even really have a business at that time. I was just like, man, that's cool. Like, if I had a product, if I had something to sell, what does it take to get them to click and buy my stuff or whatever, right? Like, I was already thinking of that, like, at 20 years old. And so that's kind of where it started. And then from 20 to 30, kind of went on a whole internet marketing run and started running ads for other businesses and even started my own. And that was like from, let's just call it the year 2000 to 2010. In 2010, I became a lender. So that's how I know your side of the business very well. And that's how my business today, I owe a huge part to my background, because I truly believe, because I was in mortgages and I already knew how your side of the business worked, it helped me as I left mortgages in 2016. So it was a mortgage run from 2010 to 2016, just crushed it in mortgages here locally, licensed for the state of California and licensed for the state of Washington. So I held 2 licenses from 2010 to 2016 in mortgages. And to this day, my best friend, he still owns the company. They do very, very well. They crush it in mortgages today. But it was my run was 6 years, and that was enough time for me. I got to know the industry. I learned everything about it. I met a ton of realtors. So this is where the light bulbs were really kind of going on for me when it comes to what I do today. I was already, I guess the seed was planting way back then, because as a lender, I'm networking with realtors, right? I had a ton of them coming to our bank. I was partnered with a lot of them. We were paying for a lot of their advertising to obviously get the deal, right? You know how it works with lenders and realtors. So I was that lender willing to pay. And so I had partners. We had a ton of them coming to us to get their clients approved for FHA loans and things like that. So it was in that 6-year period, because I had a marketing background. I'm like, wait a minute, all these realtors that I'm meeting, none of them advertise. Like, they're bringing a deal here and there. They're bringing their aunt, they're bringing their neighbor, whatever. They're bringing deals here and there, but none of them really advertise. And any of the realtors that actually did were still spending money offline, a ton of money, putting their face on a billboard, putting their face on a flyer, putting their face on direct mail pieces and sending out 7,000 pieces when God knows they're all going to the junk. They're all going to the trash can. So I knew that the majority of them that were advertising was spending it offline, and the ROI definitely wasn't there. So in 2016, my mortgage days kind of hit the fan, and I'm like, man, I don't want to do this anymore, but I wanted to stay in the industry somehow, some way. So rather than becoming a realtor or a title rep or going into escrow or anything like that, I started applying my marketing to you guys. And so in 2016, I leave mortgages to start consulting real estate agents on social media marketing and Facebook advertising. And so I've been doing that all day, every day since 2016. So that's kind of where it started. And then as I come over to Facebook, that's what really took it to the next level, because that's when I started requesting a ton of realtors as friends. That's where now you and I come into the mix, where I requested you just like I request 4,999 other realtors. And that's kind of been my whole success there, was connecting on Facebook and building a business just from that alone. And that's another thing, Anastasia. I'm proof. Now I have YouTube. So now I have a handful of clients coming to me. YouTube is a long-term play. That's a whole nother call. But YouTube is something I've been building successfully since 2017. And it's not the biggest, but it's growing for sure, right? But that's just where a handful of clients come from. 99.99999% of my clients since 2016 till today's date, whenever you guys are watching this. But since 2016, all day, every day, 99.9999% of my clients, and I literally have hundreds of them, hundreds. I'm not exaggerating. I have hundreds. I can show you my spreadsheet. I have hundreds and hundreds of clients that all came through Facebook, which is one platform. So a lot of us think that we got to be all over the place. We got to be freaking on all these damn platforms. It's like, no, you don't. Like, no, you don't at all. You don't need to be doing any of that stuff at all. Like, I've had so much success from just one platform. It's kind of crazy. And you just want to milk that platform. If you go on a run like I have, for example, milk it until you can't milk it anymore, but make sure you build something out of it. And the relationships are the things that are going to last forever. You and I, we're like this now, right? We're like freaking this now. We're like freaking brother and sister now, you and I, because of how powerful, that all this could be,
Wow. That is such a neat story of progression of how you got from mortgages over to, well, first of all, starting to think about how would I get this person to click, like back in the early days of the internet, to doing the mortgages, to then making the connection and making your niche really realtors. It sounds like, would you say that's your main niche is?
No, yeah.
realtors?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, for sure. And that's what I tried mentioning earlier, where I owe that success. I owe today's success with realtors. I owe it to my previous experience in mortgages.
Yeah.
Because it's what allowed me to relate. Like today, as I'm on calls with you, as I'm on calls with other realtors, and now we're talking about social media marketing or Facebook advertising. Yeah, I'm able to bring up that experience and say, hey, man, I know what you're going through. I was in mortgages for 6 years. I know what you're going through. I know how them deals, fall out. So yeah, it's definitely helped me for sure.
Well, and so, you are I think you're one of the most clear teachers out there that I've encountered teaching social media and marketing, because it can be really complex when you get into the back end of Facebook ads, the ads manager, and then you're making video and you're doing this. It can get really complex. And I've heard you break it down to, because I've done group classes with you where there's other people, and sometimes some of these people aren't really, I guess I'm fairly tech savvy, but I guess I'm somewhere in the middle. But some of the people in there it's really new to them, drip campaigns and things like that. And you're so incredibly patient in breaking things down. Have you always been good at teaching, or did that come with time?
No. Well, at this point, it's came with time. It's come with time, but no, not before. Like I truly believe, like, and I tell this to my 13-year-old, how like we're always hard on our kids. You need to know what you want to do. You better do good in school. You better go to college. You better be focused. You better have a plan. It's like, I truly believe we don't have, like, we don't need to have a plan at that time. You may not find your plan until you're in your 20s. You may not find your plan until you're in your 30s. You may not find your plan until you're freaking in your 40s like me. You may not find that plan. You may not find that niche. You may not find that talent or that skill. So to answer your question, I was never a teacher. Like I'd never done this stuff, like at all. But as time goes on, and as you really, I guess, you find what you're passionate about, and that's my point. You don't always find that as a 17-year-old kid, senior year, going on to college, expecting to freaking know your whole entire life's plan because your parents are freaking stressing you out, pressuring you to, right? It's like, no, dude, life doesn't even work that way. Like, you don't know where the heck you may end up. You think I would have ever thought I'd end up here today on this podcast with you? I would have never thought this at all. Like at all. Having a cool friend like you on the whole other side of the country that I met through a Facebook freaking message. Like, come on, like, I would have never thought this, so I guess what I'm trying to say is that once you find, I just happen to find, I found what the heck I'm good at. I found out what the market needed. I found out that there was a passion there in my heart for it. Right. And as that builds, I truly believe then the teacher, appears, and that's kind of what, I guess, what's happened, where it's like, now it sounds like I know what the hell I'm talking about, but it's like, I've been sharpening my sword for freaking years. So everyone, I truly believe, as long as you stay persistent at what you're doing, like even with you building your team, people are going to say no. People are going to say, no, Anastasia, I'm fine with KW. No, I'm fine with Real T1. No, in fact, over here at Coldwell, they treat me really, really well. I'm okay. You know how many no's you're going to have to go through to build a successful team? You already know this, right? But it's like, you're not going to quit. You're not going to quit. You're going to keep going. You're going to build out this freaking team, and you're going to have a huge business. And that's just the way it is. As you keep going, you're going to get better. You're going to get better. People like you are going to see you in that mirror, and they're going to be like, damn, okay, it was worth it. It was worth it for me to keep going and continue to educate myself so I can get them kudos from someone like Anastasia 5 years later. And it all makes sense, So I guess a lot of that is what turned me into who I am today. You thinking that I know how to teach when I still don't even know what the hell I'm doing. Because I'm not stuck on the perfection. You got to be imperfect. You got to be willing to just put yourself out there, and you'll find that percentage of people that actually like you. And that's what it's all about. Is finding that percentage. I talk about that all the time. I don't care. The 99%, it doesn't matter. It's that 1% that actually follow you. It's that 1%. That's all you need. And I think the majority of us, we lack the consistency in content, and we think everything has to be so perfect because we're trying to impress the 100%. When people like me, other marketers, or just anyone in general, I'm just focused on the 1%. I'm fine. I'm focused on finding the Anastasias. I'll go through 5,000 real estate agents to find the one Anastasia. And most are not willing to do that. You know what I mean? They would have quit a long time ago. You know what I mean? So it applies to everything, Anastasia, but I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for thinking I'm a teacher when I'm really a substitute teacher.
Oh man. Well, the first thing I bought from you was only $99 at the time. That might have changed.
Yes.
It was
just a little. Yeah,
totally different course now too. But it was a course, I think it was called Social Media Marketing for Real Estate Agents. And it was in Kartra, which is the program that David uses that you can talk more about if you like. But he had it all set up, and it was videos. It was pre-recorded videos, but yeah, it was, I listened to the whole thing. I was like, wow, this is like, opening my mind.
And that was way back when. That was like, that had to have been like
2017.
No, it had to have been at least 18. It was at least 18, but it was that long ago. I was thinking like more like 19, but if you're saying 17, I'll meet you in the middle. It was 2018 because that's when I actually activated my Kartra account for my landing pages and all that. That was in 2018.
Yeah, I think so.
So it had to have been then. That's a long time ago. Amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, time flies, man. Time flies. But that, a lot of that knowledge, actually all of that came as a result of, again, knowing your audience and knowing the pain point and knowing what's lacking. And that's why, as I left mortgages in 2016, my whole strategy was to start helping you guys. But how was I going to get to you guys? Like there's strategy that has to be thought about that as well. Like, okay, you find your audience, but how are you going to get to them? Like, what are you going to advertise? Are you going to freaking door knock? Are we going to cold call? Like, what are we going to do? What I did in 2016 is I started requesting every agent. So all of you guys, like, I started requesting. That's where that strategy came from, right? That's where that strategy came from, is requesting thousands of agents. And as I started requesting thousands of agents, so if you go to my personal profile today, 5,000 friends on Facebook on my personal page. The only one on that list who's not an agent is my wife. So 4,999 are all agents.
Wow.
What really happened for me towards 2017, 2018 is as I'm following now thousands of real estate agents, that's where all that knowledge in the course, that's where all my knowledge in the book that I ended up writing in 2018, I ended up writing a book on all this stuff, an ebook on all this stuff, because as I started following thousands of agents, I started seeing thousands and thousands of flaws. I started seeing thousands and thousands of patterns, and not even a flaw, just a pattern on a habit, on the fact that people are posting the same thing. And then I go to their page looks the same. I go to their business page, everyone has 110 likes. I started noticing the same thing on thousands of people's pages. That's what happened. And so in 2018, I ended up writing a book about it. And then I ended up creating a course out of it, just a coaching program, right? A simple coaching program teaching people these basics that they were missing when it pertains to their social media marketing and their branding and for sure capturing leads. And it all came from just seeing what the market was doing, what they were doing and what they weren't doing. Because when you follow thousands of people who all have the same interest, and that's we could look at Facebook groups in that sense. You guys are all, real estate, you guys are all in different Facebook groups. Everyone in that group is posting the same type of stuff because we're all talking about one specific topic. In my case, when I have thousands of friends and they all not only have the same interest, they literally all have the same job title. That's when you really start to see patterns, and it's not hard. You start to see what the market's doing there when you're dealing with thousands, right? And so that's what happened. I started seeing certain basic things, and back to what you were saying earlier, as far as thinking this stuff is overwhelming, or you said something like that, where it could be overwhelming and the tech side of everything. I realized, and I came to the conclusion where it's actually not. I came to the realization where it's actually not. 99.9% of everyone would think that social media marketing, running a Facebook ad, they think of the tech side being super overwhelming and confusing. And so I guess my whole luck to my whole success has came from me dumbing it down and just taking it down to the basics. Like, here is the basics, like focus on these basics first. And that applies for you guys as well. Talking to your audience regarding buying or selling real estate. Have a plan, like maybe write out 10 bullet points. Here's what I tell a lot of people too, Anastasia, for you listing agents that are having a hard time thinking of content and what to put out. I always tell this basic analogy or example or story or whatever, like when it comes to listings, right? If I let's say for example, let's say I was in your neck of woods, Florida, right? Let's say I was out there where you guys are at. Where you at? What city?
St. Augustine.
Let's say I was out there too. My wife and I, we lived out there, and let's say you were just a friend of mine. You lived a few miles away. If I called you, Anastasia, and I said, Anastasia, my wife and I were thinking about selling. Okay, we're thinking about selling. We might be moving out of state. I don't know. We're thinking about selling. We just have no clue on how to do it. We don't know where to start. We don't know where to begin. We don't know nothing. You're my girl. You're my friend. You're who we're turning to. My wife and I, she said, you better not call anybody else but Anastasia. So I'm calling you. Do you think we can sit down this weekend? Do you think we can maybe, meet at Starbucks? I'll get you a coffee. Do you think we could sit down and you could just kind of go over, just give me an overview, give me what to expect. Just give me something on what it takes to sell this house. Can we meet this Saturday? First of all, that's a dream phone call for most of you guys, right? That's a freaking layup, right? That's a freaking dream call. You're like, damn, David, I ain't getting them calls, right? That's a dream call, first of all. But if you could just imagine with me.
Right.
If we sat down this Saturday, and this is your listing appointment, if we sat down, you would come with your binder, you'd come with your notes, you'd come so professional, you'd come so prepared, and you would know exactly what to hit on in that 30-minute presentation. 20-minute, whatever you guys do, right? You would know exactly. Hey, David, here's what we can do. Not only am I badass, but let me introduce you to my brokerage. My broker, you see his picture right here? This guy is freaking badass. This guy, he's going to help me with all the marketing. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do this. You would be able to talk my ear off on how successful this would be if you were to list it for me. Mm-hmm. That needs to be content. That needs to be content. Like, so what you guys can do, if you can imagine that appointment, write out 10 bullet points on what you would cover with me. If my wife and I, if we sat down for coffee this weekend, what the hell would you tell me? What would you talk to me about? Write those bullet points out. You can make a list of 10, 15, 20 different things that you guys do. What do you do to sell my house, right? Write those bullet points out and make that content. Hey guys, this is David. Hey, just wanted to put out a quick video real quick. I'm actually over here masterminding and thinking of different tips to give my clients on when it comes. When it comes to selling. Tip number one, here's what I consult clients on: the importance of renovating their kitchen and how much value this would bring to the overall price when you go to sell. Little tips like that, if we sat down, what would you tell me? You talk to me about my bathroom. Hey, David, well, how's the flooring? How's the roof? Right? There's certain questions that you have that you need to get out of me in order to see if this will be a successful listing or not. Right? There's certain things that you're going to need to ask me. There's certain things that you're going to tell me to make me even want to hire you to begin with. We're not even there yet. My cousin might be a realtor. My aunt's also a realtor. Guess what? My uncle, he's been a mortgage guy for 15 years and he knows a ton of realtors. So it's like, dang, what makes Anastasia so different? Right? And it's not the fact that you're selling me. It's just the fact that you still have to somewhat sell me. Right. So that content, whatever the heck you guys have for me in that listing appointment, for example, and you can apply this to a buyer's, orientation, whatever, that content, make a list that needs to be your content. You should be running that as Facebook ads. You should be providing that type of value to people. And when you can tie it to some type of enticing bribe, some type of ethical bribe, where you're actually giving away something of value up front for free, which in your case, in real estate, it's super simple: a buyer guide or a seller guide, a free PDF. Click here to download my 2021 seller guide. When you could put that content in front of the people who matter, which are people that literally live next door. And that's why Facebook advertising is so powerful, because how else can we run a video to this local area? Like, how else? Like, my Facebook Live is not going to reach my neighbor. Me posting on my personal Facebook page ain't going to do squat for me. Even me posting on my business page ain't doing nothing for me. There's crickets over there. In fact, I think the crickets are dead by now. They're not even there no more. So it's like, we have to target the right people. And when you can come off and just give out content, and I don't know what the hell the first question was, Anastasia, I kind of went on a rant there, but the listing appointment, that should be your content. That could be your content. That's what you put out. And before you know it, the market will fall in love with you. At least your audience, you know what I mean? And it's the 1%. That's where I was getting at as well. It's the 1% that is all you need. You don't need everybody. You know what I mean? Especially being in real estate, you guys make a pretty darn good coin. Just you guys work your butts off, but at the same time, the transaction, just one deal, just one deal makes it worth it. Just one deal. So many different things to talk about, Anastasia, but I'm pretty fired up and I'm lit off this coffee over here.
I wish I could drink coffee. I'm so jealous. I can't anymore. Like about 6 years ago, I can't handle it anymore. I get all like nervous. My heart starts burning. It's just like messes me up. I'm like, what? I love coffee. Why?
That's funny. But yeah, it's the content. Go on.
Yeah. So I was one of the questions I was gonna ask you was, where do you think a lot of agents are missing the mark? You've touched on a bunch of things with that though. But is there anything else that you think that agents aren't doing that they could be doing?
Yes. And that's where that whole rant went on as well as speaking on the course. As I started following thousands of people, I started seeing different things. I started seeing the same thing. I started seeing the same damn thing. Thousands of people are posting the same type of thing, right? And so that's where, again, I saw the holes, I saw the flaws, I saw what was missing, I saw what should have been there and how links should be. And that's what made that course. That's what all that was about, was just simply educating people on what they were missing. But yeah, when I started requesting agents, specifically all agents, that's why, again, you can go to my friend list, it's public. Look at all my 5,000 friends. They're all real estate agents. But when I started doing that, I started noticing that, okay, she's in Nebraska. That's my new Facebook friend. He's in Florida. This one's in New Mexico. They're all posting their listing. They all have an open house coming up this weekend that they're promoting. But I'm in California. I'm seeing this, right? And so all of that is what led me into now, again, coaching and consulting now, because that's what I saw. So to answer your question, that's what I see. That's what I saw. That's what I see by the thousands. where it's like, it's cool if you're doing deals nationwide. Like if you're doing deals and you got your broker's license for all kinds of freaking states, that's cool. If you got partners in all these other states and you don't mind making your little split, okay, cool. Go through all that effort to build a nationwide brand and just throw spaghetti against the wall. That's where my whole thing of Facebook advertising came in.
Because I'm like, man, they have to advertise. You're saying
I'm
they're
like,
missing,
yes,
they're not doing that. They're missing the boat.
I'm like, you're a local business owner. Like the people that should be knowing about that listing are people that live in that area. Like blast that same post, the same energy, the same post, the same picture, the same video, everything you already put on the business page. Leave it the same. Just go behind the scenes and run an ad. That's all. But the magic is when you can stay consistent at that. And the magic is when you can educate the audience. And in many cases, I teach, educate them on one topic. So running an ad for a listing, that's a one-off. Running an ad for an open house, that's a one-off. But what in this profession, real estate, what you guys should be running ads on consistently, daily ads on, is one topic. Either you're educating that end user on the process of selling, so you're a listing agent, right? Or you're educating the consumer and that audience on the process of buying. You're a buyer's agent, right? Pick one. That content, that post, that becomes your Facebook ad. And so throughout the month, when you don't have a listing, when you don't have an open house, throughout the month, every other day, every day through the month, you're running ads on giving away your seller guide or your buyer guide, a simple PDF, a simple 5-pager, a few bullet points on what it takes to sell, right? And so now you run ads to that local area and you give away that. So again, to answer your question even further, I see it by the thousands where it's like, it's that basic. Target your local area, stop throwing posts all over the place where all these people across the country don't care about your open house this weekend. Like, let's focus on that local area with a specific ad, and build your brand in that local area. That's what it's all about. And I want people to keep seeing my face in a local area. So that's what I just seen by the thousands, where most don't do that. Most are just posting, thinking that this social media post is productive, when it's actually not. And that's kind of where I'm at today, is now just teaching that same energy, that same content. Let's just sprinkle a little bit more on it and target that audience. And that's where I truly believe success comes from, when you're a local business owner, right? And that's what obviously most realtors, your dream listing is down the street, not this listing in Nebraska. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I realized recently, like within the past few months, it was actually when I had this younger realtor on as a guest on the show. She's a realtor. She's probably I think she's in her early 20s and I'm in my late 30s, so we're about, maybe not quite 20 years apart, maybe 15, something like that. But I realized after talking to her, like she barely uses Facebook, and I think Facebook, and maybe somebody else kind of clued me in on this, but I guess Facebook is considered like an older person's platform now, or starting to be. Less young people, I think, are using it more. They're using like TikTok or Twitter or Instagram, or maybe not Twitter. I don't know where I threw that in. I don't think that's right, but definitely Insta and TikTok and other ones I probably don't even know about. But I think, what do you think about for realtors? I think for realtors, like our audience, that's usually that are buying homes. It depends on what age group we're focusing on, I guess. Do you find that do you have any thoughts about that? And maybe, is Facebook going to get phased out, and where would you go after Facebook, do you think?
Yeah, definitely not a phase out. Like, let me do a quick Google search real quick. And it's not even the fact that watch this. It's not the fact that certain like demographics are leaving or whatever it may be. They started in so Facebook was founded in 2004. So in 2004, you got to think about the generation. So in 2004, that generation that started coming into Facebook, 2005, 2006, 2009, 2010, that age group is now our age group today. So it's not that anyone left. It's the fact that as younger people come up, these younger people, I got some people that my son wasn't born until 2007. So it's like, if you can imagine that generation, he's now a 13-year-old. He grew up in the beginning of something else. He grew up in the beginning of TikTok. He grew up in the beginning of Instagram, right? So it's just the demographics and the era that we're in. I truly believe, well, yeah, if you're an agent and you're focused on just buyers and you're focused on first-time home buyers, okay, well then dang, you're home buyer, okay, younger person probably. First-time couple, first-time newlywed, probably in their early 20s. Okay, well then dang, go find another platform because maybe that demographic isn't here. Facebook remains and at the same, yeah, Facebook remains just that same age group, which today they're now in their 30s and 40s and even older. So if you're a listing agent, well dang, this is for sure where you actually want to be, because you got all your 50-year-olds and 60-year-olds over here on Facebook. They need to sell, right? They're downsizing for what, different things like that. You guys know this better than I do, but that older one is here. So if you're focused on that first time home buyer, then yeah, maybe go to Instagram, maybe go to TikTok, start learning some dance moves and start shaking your butt on TikTok, right? Because you're focused on that younger demographic, and that's where you need to be. So yeah, it just comes down to who you're serving, right? Your market. And me, to tell you the truth, my demographics on Facebook, my demographic is on Instagram as well, but it's on Facebook for me for sure. And I just got to know where my audience is at. But at the same time, you definitely, if you're catering towards younger, TikTok, Instagram, and even newer ones that are coming around like Clubhouse. But again, back to what I even said in the very, very beginning, don't try to be a jack of all trades. Don't think you need to spread yourself thin. Don't think you need to be on all of them. You don't. Pick that one, find your audience, and just go hard. Go hard and just penetrate that small percentage of the market and just build yourself a brand. And it doesn't take much. It just takes consistency. Find that platform.
Yeah, well, that's very inspiring, and that's definitely something I hear consistently, especially like with guests that come on the show talking about social media marketing. Don't pick them all. Pick one.
Yes.
Pick one and really, really dig in, make it yours. And you're definitely like a true life success story of that. Because
I appreciate it.
Is awesome.
And one platform that I truly believe everyone should be building, any small business owner, any for sure, any realtor, is a YouTube channel. Like it's more of a long-term play, but you need to be building a YouTube channel. Like YouTube is for sure the search engine capability, the fact that it's Google, like it's an actual people go to YouTube to type stuff in to find and watch and learn. That's the whole mindset of a consumer on the YouTube platform, is that the fact that they're actually consuming information to learn from. Yeah, there's a lot of cat videos and stupid videos, and we consume all kinds of random stuff. But majority of people that actually are on YouTube are actually learning something. Like we're subscribed to certain people. Maybe you're subscribed to a cooking channel. Maybe you're subscribed to $1 Million Listing, right? Maybe you're subscribed to EXP's freaking brokerage account, their YouTube channel, right? So we're learning from it. So it's more of a long-term play, but it's a long-term play that will build you a passive income, like just like you building your team over here. It's a platform that will actually pay you passively once you build it. None of these other platforms will do that for you. That's why when you look at my YouTube, you think that there's so much going on, and there somewhat is, but what you don't realize and what you actually don't even know until I tell you right now is the fact that 100% of, well, 99.9, because any other video would go on an ad. But if I'm putting out a video, if I'm doing a video, it's either for an ad, which is, let's just say 1%. 99% of every single video that I'll ever do for social media, which is talking about my topic, right? Social media marketing, Facebook ads, in your case, talking about real estate, buying or selling or building a team, whatever. It's focused on that one topic. But in my case, 99% of it has gone to YouTube. It's not uploaded on Instagram. That's why when you go to my Instagram, you only see pictures of my family. I don't even do anything over there. Twitter, I don't even do anything. I don't even know how to tweet. LinkedIn, I don't even though every realtor, every professional, anyone that you could possibly want to do business with, it's business to business on LinkedIn, but I'm not even over there. So it's like 99% of my content goes on YouTube. And the reason for it is because YouTube will eventually start paying you. Bottom line. So we all understand passive income. We all understand portfolio income. We all understand rental income, real estate rental income. We all understand residual income. YouTube is another form of residual income. So now at my point, my channel is not even the biggest, but I crossed the 1,000 subs. I have like, almost 4,300 or whatever it is, but it's 1,000. You got to cross 1,000 subscribers. And then YouTube starts paying you on these ads that are ran on your video. And it's like, the way I looked at it back in 2017, I'm like, man, because that's when I started the YouTube channel. And all that was videos of me documenting day in the life. So as I'm running a Facebook ad, as I'm putting together a landing page, as I'm talking to a real estate agent, as I'm consulting on social media marketing, I'm taking that video because I'm doing it on Zoom. I'm sharing my screen. I'm recording it. That video became my video for the day for YouTube.
That's cool.
And because that YouTube was one topic, that's what made it, that's what makes it take off, is the fact that it's a channel on a specific topic, not a blog talking about all kinds of random stuff. But when you can focus on that one topic and attract that audience, and then you hit 1,000 subscribers, yes, that passive income can start to grow. And God knows every realtor, I don't care who you are, majority of you guys watching this, we can all use an extra stream of income, right?
Yes.
Like if it wasn't going to affect what you're currently doing in real estate, right? If you could just build a passive income on the side of what you're already doing. And that's why in 2017, when I was thinking about content and putting stuff out, I'm like, dang, why would I spend the time to put it anywhere else? I need to focus 1,000% on YouTube, put that video out on YouTube, because YouTube will eventually pay me. And now today they are. And it's not the biggest, an extra 1,000, 1,200 a month from YouTube, but it's like, dang, that's rent, that's grocery money, that's my car note. And if I was a realtor having to scrape up money in between deals, in between closings, that would be an income that would for sure help my family, which today it does. That one income pays a lot of my bills. So that's why I'm not always stressed for another client, because that income alone, like it's just a passive income. It's content I was going to put out anyways. I happen to just put it on YouTube, and now I have an income from it. So I can't stress that enough with you guys. Like, you guys are out there pouring your heart and soul and energy into creating content around your beautiful industry of real estate. I'm just saying, put it on YouTube as well. Put it on YouTube as well, because when you can start getting paid from it, you're going to be grateful, and you're going to be thanking yourself that you did. And when you do video for YouTube, Anastasia, if it's not here on the computer, you're recording live here on Zoom. And if you're doing it on your cell phone, it's always holding the phone horizontal. So YouTube, it's not vertical. This is for Instagram. Do videos, great for Instagram vertical. But if I'm doing a YouTube video, I'm holding the phone widescreen. That makes a good visual to a Facebook video and to a YouTube video. Widescreen,
awesome. Awesome tips. I actually spent a good few hours today recording video. I'm officially back in the swing of things. I had my kids home for the summer, and I was like, I got to go hard on video. It's time to get back on video. I'm showering. Well, you guys are crushing it, man.
You guys are crushing it. You guys are crushing it, man. Shout out to you and Sean. Shout out to your whole team. You guys are crushing it. You look good. Your attitude is amazing, and I can't wait to see where your team is at in the next few years. You got so much stuff going for you. It's amazing.
Thank you so much, David. I really appreciate all of the value you brought today to the show. And definitely let people know how they can find you and reach out to you.
Yes. So as I kind of mentioned, throughout this podcast, where a lot of what I coach and teach today is simply a result of seeing what thousands of realtors were missing when it came to social media marketing and Facebook advertising, right? So I started noticing that in 2017, 2018, and today, as I have, I'll keep it at 5,000 friends. Sometimes I'll unfriend a few people, will unfriend me. It's no big deal. No one knows each other. It's nothing personal, but I'll always keep it at 5,000. So as I keep my ear to the street and just seeing what the market is always doing, they're always doing the same thing. That's how you're going to really learn your market. So in 2018, I wrote a book about it. And so the best thing is simply go download a free copy. Like, go and read this. I go over the top 5 steps. It's the 5-step blueprint. So www.the5stepblueprint.com. You guys can download a free copy there. That's where everybody can find me, is the 5-step blueprint. And 5 is spelled out, FIVE, the 5stepblueprint.com. And in that simple ebook, I go over the top 5 steps, that I started seeing, and that I still see to this day by the thousands, on what pages look like when it comes to real estate agents. And it's the number one reason why your social media brand isn't growing. It's the number one reason why your social media is not optimized, meaning people can't just type in and find you. They have to really search you to find you, right? It's the reason why you only have 110 likes. It's the reason why you're posting stuff and leads aren't coming. It's 5 basic steps to walk you through your social media branding and capturing leads online. And so that's kind of a good place to start, Anastasia, is the 5stepblueprint.com. Download a free copy and I'll see you guys in my world.
Guys, got to check it out. You won't regret it.